Hello, this is Pen Paper ETC. This is my very first how-to video, and today I'm going to be working on something very near and dear, something very close to me. I'm going to be working with Jet Set Radio, the groundbreaking game for the Dreamcast, and today I'm going to show you how to make graffiti using the game's in-game graffiti creator. Now, some of you who are familiar with this game might be asking, why would I need to first make a podcast on a game that's 20 years old? And second, why would I need to make graffiti in the game when I can actually do my own outside of it now using other photo editing programs and just upload it to the game? Well, first of all, Jet Set is never old. It's always fresh. It's always new. It's always an inspiration, especially for me. And secondly, yes, absolutely. I think the graffiti uploading tools available for Windows now are amazing. They have revolutionized how I play the game, certainly. But I think there are still special benefits to being able to use the in game graffiti creator. One of which is that the graffiti really fits with the mood of the game so that the colors all match really well, they fit the theme, and also the lettering is kind of in style with the mood and feel of the game. So you're creating work that can be really consistent within that Jet Set Radio universe. Secondly, I think the graffiti creator is really unique. And so part of the reason I wanted to demonstrate this is in doing research on how to upload graffiti through Windows, I came across a lot of comments saying, oh, the graffiti creator's no good. It's sort of bogus. It's just not really a great tool. And I do agree that it's clunky, but I think I think it's being overlooked. I think it does have the potential to create some really amazing stuff. And I think I like to do lettering and things like that anyway, but I think with a few simple steps, I think it's possible to make graffiti that anyone can make or that anyone can use. So I just want to demonstrate a quick graffiti today and how you can do this on your own and make some sick looking graffiti that will go right in with the mood of your game. Now, I do want to note that I've got limited recording tools, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to showcase the graffiti in the game during this recording. I'm recording on an emulator on my phone, and emulators do not save the graffiti files as easily, so I cannot demonstrate this. But if you are working on a Dreamcast or if you're using the HD version on Windows, both of those should work fine. So let's go into the graffiti editor, and I'm just going to create a new graffiti. And so we have lots of different sizes to work with. I am going to pick large today because I think it's pretty good. One size fits all. You can, from a large, you can, make a small if you want to. You can make a big one, but working with the large size is pretty basic. And I'm also going to showcase what I think the graffiti editor does really well, and I'm going to do this one in Japanese. Now, I realize that, it's a different language and it can be difficult to work with. However, if you're able to make some Japanese graffiti, one, it's really unique to this game and to the graffiti world. If you've ever tried looking up Japanese graffiti, you'll find that it's really difficult to find good quality samples of graffiti out there. And that's because, one, in Japan, the police really do crack down hard on graffiti. Officer Onishima is real, and they, they do not take kindly to people tagging up the walls. I can't remember what rapper it was that went over to Japan not too long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, and I think he just put up like a really small tag, in a Tokyo metro, and he got busted. I don't know if he did time, but he definitely had to pay a steep fine. So one, it's difficult to find out in the wild good examples of Japanese graffiti. But that's not to say that there isn't good graffiti out there that looks amazing. But one of the cool things about this system is you can make some awesome stuff using the katakana, the characters they provide here. And on top of that, you can make character specific graffiti. So, of course, all the characters have graffiti associated with them. But one cool thing is that their names really lend themselves to tagging really well. Names like Beat, Gum, Corn, or Tab. You'll notice all of these names are really short, and they are also short in Japanese katakana. So this will end up showing up really well if you want to make their names using katakana. It's very easy to just look up on the wikis how to spell their names very quickly, or you can even do your own. You can look up your own name on Google Translate. But I think today I'm going to be doing my tag name, which is Mayo. But very quickly, I want to just kind of show you the layout here. So the way it's laid out is they're syllables, basically. It's not alphabetic, but it's A, I, U, A, O, Ka. What is it? Wait, no. Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, Ko, Sa, Shi, Su, Se, So, Ta, Chi, Tsu, Te, To, Na, Ni, Nu, Ne, No, Ha, Hi, Hu, He, Ho, Ma, Mi, Mu, Me, Mo, Whoop. Ya, You, Yo. And then over here, Ra, Ri, Ru, Je, Ro, Wa, Wo, Un. So, kind of, if you just have a general idea of katakana, it's pretty easy to pick up for even non-Japanese speakers, and you can just get a sense of where that layout is. Do I want to do my own name, or do I want to do some? You know what? I'm going to do combo because this is a jet set demonstration, and combo is one of my favorite characters. So going over here, I see I know that his name is Ko Bo. Now, one thing about Japanese is to do certain sounds, you need to make a softener, and to take the ho and turn it into bo, you need to add a little mark at the top here. Now, one good rule of thumb that I like to keep when writing IRL or in this game is keep it short. Definitely for those large and small pieces, for the small pieces, I like to do only one character, actually. I'll just do F, but, for a large piece, 3 to 5 letters is kind of the max that you want to do. And you'll see here, this, combo kind of comes out to just 3 simple letters. Now, okay, so it's pretty tempting to click paint and go to the next step, but I think that's kind of a mistake. So my little trick is skip that, and you can go directly to this if you want. Now, this is one of the coolest features, I think, of the graffiti tool. you can edit the letters to be a certain kind of style, and you'll see that, if you push it to the extremes, it's going to look weird. More over here, it's more electric, more jagged. Or if you kind of come over to the side over here, it's going to be a little bit puffier. I try not to overdo it too much, and I'll explain that in a minute, because it can make the characters a little bit just not look quite as good. So I really tend to keep it in a close range. There are some characters that look pretty amazing if you do push it to the limit, like an X, just like push it way out and it's like, whoa. But one cool thing about the graffiti editor, I do want to point this out, is if you use the D-pad, you can stretch individual letters. And I think this is really one of the key tricks in multiple phases of the graffiti editor. You can, if one letter is just not looking right, or if it's coming out too small, you can kind of push it, just the individual letter using the D-pad here. And you can get some pretty interesting styles right away. So it's pretty fun. Okay, now you can see it's pretty small still, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. Okay, so then this is where you can get really into the meat of forming your letters. Now, the first one I want to come to is actually this one right here, and it's a little bit of a strange tool. It's the lens tool. And you'll see immediately, like, what happens is it just shrinks the letters, and okay, that's weird. But I want to show you sort of the difference. So we'll take the regular for an example, and you can see that it stretches by size. But if you do this, okay, it shrinks. But what this affects is how it will move and resize. And this becomes really apparent when you change the angle. So for example, I'm going to twist this. I'm going to kind of do like a little bit of a move here, and then go back to this lens and have that selected. You can see that it will stretch really easily, really quickly. And maybe that's the kind of effect you want. And you can see how it cuts off over on the left side over here. Or maybe that's not. So, I'm going to see how far I can push this just for fun. And when you use these bigger sizes, you can see it's stretching it way off the edge. And the one thing I don't like about these more extreme lenses is they will make your left-hand letters very, very big, and your right-hand letters small, and that's going to throw it off balance. So actually, I stick usually with the first two. For this one, I'm just going to stick with the first one, and I'm going to kind of push this back into scale here, because I want those letters to stay balanced. And by balanced, I mean, about the same size. Okay, so I'm going to move this kind of into place a little bit. And then again, using that individual letter tool, I really want to take up as much space with the letters as I can. And again, this is one of the keys to making, the graffiti good. I think it's not readily apparent that this tool is available, but it is. And I think it really helps a lot. So before I center it again, I want to do a little rotation. And again, you can rotate individual letters, and this is really cool. You can kind of change the angle. And what I like to do, it's not exactly, easy to do this IRL. And this is one of the reasons I like this tool, is that you can change these angles so easily and get these really nice effects. I like how the letters are overlapping each other. One more time, just for the heck of it, I'm going to play with this lensing tool and then kind of see what's going on. Yeah, I just don't like it. Not gonna lie, it's just not my bag. So I'm gonna kind of go back to that original size. And I do want it to take up a lot of space here. Maybe not quite to the edge, but because we will fill that in. But you can see already it's starting to come along. Pretty interesting effects. I feel like I can push some of these letters a little bit more. I don't know why. I really like this effect that you can change the angles of those individual letters. You can have them all go in one direction also if you want to. And so I'm going to kind of do one more centering there. Okay, then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the texture here. And you could honestly just change the texture and leave it at that. You can really get some cool effects just by picking one of these textures. Some of them look extremely weird. This one, for example, that one, but some of them look sick, some of them look nice, and some of them, like this one, are really easy to work with. And I'm going to show you one more that I particularly like. That this is another good one that you can work with because they're more blank. This one is really clean and simple, so you can paint on it, over it if you want to. And again, I'm just going to kind of, just knock it in a little bit, get it centered. And okay, so with that, you can go back and kind of push it a little more if you want to. I'm honestly pretty happy, with how things are. You can see I kind of fucked it up a little bit. It's not quite, it's just not, it's not an easy thing to do, working with these things. And I'm just going to kind of move it. I'm going to move that bow back a little bit, so it's not quite overlapping. It's not exactly the effect I wanted, but whatever, it's going to work. And then, so from here, then we move into the paint. And I think this is the key. So I think the thing that most people do is pretty easy mistake to make is, they assume that you're supposed to use the paint tool to just like write your name or something, and it's not really easy. So, but what you can do, and this is just my take on what makes good graffiti in this game, is I'm gonna kind of go back and do a little bit more editing really quick, just because I want even spacing on the both sides, and the top and the bottom, so it's going to be easier to paint. Okay, so this is just my personal opinion on what looks good in this game. Having your tags take up as much space as possible, and that includes characters and the background behind the letters. And the reason for this is when I tag over Poison Jam, I don't want to see their shit. I don't want to, maybe a little is okay, but I want my tag to totally cover up theirs. Boom, and I want it to stand out. I want it to look nice. I want it to be very visible from far away, so when I'm skating, of course, I can look at the arrows, but I can also see that place has been tagged, and it's just very clear. So by painting the background, it's just a little something extra that makes it just stand out. And so to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick, first we start with the background, and you'll notice here there's a white and a red, and if the red is on the bottom, that means you're painting behind the graffiti. So it might seem weird at first. And if you do a left trigger, it's going to do a very small, I believe. That's really strange. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, great. Is this not going to work? Let's find out. Let's find out if this will work or not. Yeah, ooh. Yeah, that's going to work. but that's in the front. We don't exactly want that. It might be that the masking in this ROM version is doing something strange. So unfortunately, I might not be able to in this demo demonstrate how to get the background looking nice, and that's unfortunate. But it's not the end of the world. What I will do, I'm just going to skip to the next part of this demo, and let me just try one more thing, just to see. Oh wow, it really does work. Okay, so there, it's kind of a masking issue. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click erase all. That's not going to erase all of your artwork, so don't worry. But yeah, that's a little unfortunate. Like that this mask is here. It shouldn't be. This is a ROM issue. Whatever, don't worry about it. For the purposes of this demo, what I'm going to be doing anyway is pretty simple. What you should be able to do, and you'll see it better, is make concentric circles with your joystick. This is really fun to do. Just make concentric circles and use the right trigger when you're doing this to make sure that you're getting a thick line. And when it's visible, I try to stay away from these edges. The reason for that is I like my graffiti to feel a little more natural. I don't like it to hit that bounding box, like that it's obvious that it's a square, because, if you're tagging or if you see any tags in real life, you'll notice that they're never going to have that. So yeah, so what I want to do is just kind of check and see. So yeah, basically what you're going to do is like this kind of effect. I'm going to use, I'm going to leave it for now. So this is pretty simple. You want to ideally just kind of cover as much as you can, and you can do little dots around, make it look like thought bubbles. This will help fill it out a little bit more. I think actually, I'm feeling pretty bold. I'm going to try covering a little bit more over here, because I saw, it was not fully all taken up, so I'm just gonna kind of, again, using that right trigger, and okay, we'll just check it, see how it's going, and it's got a little bit of space over there, and it's fine. It kind of gives it that freshly sprayed look. So there we go, and you can, if you want, just do a little quick couple of squeezes of the left trigger. If you want like a couple of dots, then it's not gonna look too good because I can't see what I'm doing, but just that extra effect. So that being said, you could just call it a day here and say, oh, okay, I got my graffiti, whatever. If this texture is not working out for you, just pick a different texture here, like, oh yeah, and you could call it a wrap right here if you want. I'm going to take it one step further and show you how to do, because I think this will work. I'm going to show you how to use the left trigger and make a couple of little extra details. I think, they are not necessary, but they will help your graffiti pop a bit. So again, I'm going to be working on the graffiti itself, or on the top layer, so I want this red to be on top. And then we use the magnifying glass. So the magnifying glass is rad. I really like it for these really close details. It makes it way, way easier to work with, I think, because, we're using the controller here, and it's not easy to control, literally. But what you can do is zoom really close, and then you can actually get that kind of feel of making, what it was actually like to spray, and like do some outlining or some shading. One thing the controller is really good at is doing horizontal movements, so you can get straight lines actually pretty easily using this feature. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the left trigger to get the small graffiti and just kind of nudging and squeezing and, you know, kind of going along. And I believe it's pressure sensitive, or, you know, if you squeeze long enough, it's going to make a pretty big dot. No, I don't know what I'm talking about. But, you know, I'm just going along the bottom edges here. If you're adding that kind of bevel, you can pick two sides usually, and just make sure you're consistent. So like staying with the bottom, and then say the left side. Anything that's on the left side and the bottom, you'll want to spray, you know, and that's going to give it a nice effect, you know, as long as it's nothing on the right and top sides. I'm gonna zoom out here and see how that looks. You can see it's not a huge effect. I can add a little bit more here. Just be careful and make sure you are keeping the same color consistency there, and just pick a color that's similar to whatever your shadow is when you're doing that. So here we go. You know, just adding a little bit here. This is not, you know, clean by any means, but it will kind of just give it, you know, just a little bit of personal touch, I think. And, you know, just kind of checking other areas I can kind of spray out, you know, okay. And yeah, here we go. Yeah, so you can see right there, just a little small detail. You can do similar effects on the, you can do kind of a, you know, bevel, emboss, I can't remember what's what. You can do effects on the letters themselves. You know what, I'm going to go wild here. Try kind of a golden yellow up here. And you know what, try just kind of, I'm just going to see what it looks like. I mean, one of the cool things that I love about graffiti is that you can just try shit out. You know, there are rules, don't get me wrong, but, you know, with a lot of it, you just make shit up, and knowing when to bend the rules and break the rules is part of the fun. So it is weird at first trying to use the controller to, you know, spray, but it's fun. You know, it definitely is fun. And again, this system is clunky, but you can. I mean, it's game, you know, right? For me, learning how to do this sort of opened it up. You know, it actually made me feel a little more immersed in that world of Jet Set. You know, like I kind of felt like, whoa, you know, now, hey, you know, we're doing it, right? We're actually like making stuff that fits in. So you can see I didn't really do much, just some simple touches, but it's enough to kind of like, you know, make it personal. And then we'll come back and go back to the keyboard. We can see we've got that kind of that background on there. And here we go. And that's it. I really wish I could show you this one in game. Unfortunately, I can't. I think also some savvy people out there would know how to export these from Windows. And I've tried a couple of different apps. I haven't quite figured out how to do that. But as you can see, you know, this is pretty rad. And actually, if you wanted to use something like this, I forgot to mention, one of my favorite things that you can do with this graffiti tool is you can just prototype your own shit with it. Like you can, how do you say? I mean, you can download apps on your phone that will let you write letters or whatever. But actually, I find that doing it in the Jet Set radio graffiti tool is actually better, a little bit weirder, way more fun, way varied. So that's it. I hope you found this demo helpful. I hope, for anybody out there that's like, oh, just the graffiti creator tool sucks. I hope, I gave you a little bit of food for thought, just kind of a little something to, say, oh, hey, maybe it's not as much of a piece of shit, as I thought it was. And maybe give you some creativities or creative ideas, just as a way to keep this game going, because it has been, holy shit, it's been like 20 years since this game came out, and it's still going strong, and that's what amazes me. So it's really awesome, and it's an honor to make this video, kind of do this, give something back. If you'd like to see more of these, if you'd like, have any special requests, any names you'd like to see me do, feel free to give a shout out in the comments. I had a blast making this, to be honest, and I think it'd be really cool to make some more. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Maybe in the future we'll make more good stuff. Okay.